Hey guys, Steve Izzle here with another battle report. I will start off by just first apologising. For some reason, the my camera work for this battle report was absolutely appalling, and as you can see the little message on screen there, for some reason my camera corrupted the pictures I took of my own deployment, and it randomly just blurred up sort of 2/3 of the pictures I took of this battle report. I nearly didn't bother putting it up, but I thought I took the pictures, and it's a fairly interesting battle report. So you just have to bear with it, guys. There is some blurry pictures, but so it's about 50-50. Most of them are okay. Some of them are blurred, but yeah, you would just have to make do. So starting here with the Warriors Case deployment. This is the center of the table. On the right hand side there's the 20 inch Chaos Warrior block with the level 1 metal wizard in. He has the Iron Curse icon. There's 2 Gorby's Chariots Max Cord in the centre, 2 units of dogs in front, and then off to the right hand side of this picture there's a unit of 5 dogs, another unit of 5 dogs with a unit of Skull Crushers behind them. Just to the bottom right of that Zinch block unit, so just off picture, there's the Exalted BSB on Demonic Mount, and then behind the Skull Crushers off to the right is the Demon Prince, who's hiding in the back corner. So we'll move on to the Ogre Kingdom's deployment. These are the spells that I rolled up. So I rolled Purple Sun, Spirit Leech, Crest of Lenith, and Soulblight. So probably the best spells I could have rolled up for the Demon Prince there, and the level 1 Metal Wizard rolled up Final Transmutation, which was nice. So moving on to Ogre Kingdom's deployment, on the right hand side here, he has a unit of 6 bulls with a level 2 butcher in. He has a hunter with 4 saber tusks, an iron blaster, and 12 noblars. I will say that my opponent here today is a fairly new player. He's just getting into playing fantasy. He started out with ogres, so this isn't an optimum ogre list by any means, but he does have some of the the usual suspects in there in the way of like powerful units and things that you usually see. So it's got some of the tough elements, but it's no way a fully optimized ogre list. So that's the right hand side. Moving to the center, and so he's got a second iron blaster, 4 lead belchers, a big unit of 10 iron guts with a fire belly in level 2, another 12 noblars, and off in to the left hand side of this picture is a unit of 3 yetis. So there's a few unusual choices in there. Like you wouldn't normally see the yetis or the noblars, but he's trying a few things out. He's kind of bought some of the stuff that he likes the look of, and kudos to my opponent. We were talking sort of 3 or 4 days before this game, and I was saying like you need to get a second iron blaster in because he only had one, and he managed to buy, build, and paint an iron blaster in those 3 days, which is fairly impressive. So credit where it's credit's due. So we're moving on. The Ogre Kingdom player won the roll to go first. He vanguarded up the hunter like so. Again, there's the first of many blurry pictures. I apologise. And the rest of his movement moves up like so. So he moves up the Noblars and the Bulls and the Iron Blaster up like that. So this is the first mistake where he's making, and he'll learn throughout this game not to stack units so closely like that, because it gives me easy charges and easy overruns, and puts himself in a position where he can't counter charge. So again, this is just the things done by relatively new players, and I'm hoping that when we keep playing, he'll learn that this isn't the thing he should be doing. So in moving into the centre, he pushes up the other Iron Blaster a little bit. The Lead Belchers move forward, the Iron Guts move up, and then the Noblars just trundle behind the lines a little bit. And the Lead Belchers tried to get up into range of the Demon Prince to pop his Charm Shield, which is a smart play. And over on the left, the Yetis just go full march and turn in a little bit, because I've got nothing over off on that left hand side of the board. So they just full march up and swing around to affect the game later on. And then into the Ogre King's magic phase. So you cast that little token there, means that the fulminating flame cage has gone off on the Gobi's chariot. And that little token there means that the Flaming Sword of Ruin has gone off onto the Lead Belchers. And Lead Belchers with Flaming Sword of Ruin is actually a fairly, scary unit to face against. And into Ogre Kingdom shooting, so the Iron Blaster goes ahead and puts a cannonball straight through the Gobi's chariot. I think the Lead Belchers also managed to put one wound on because they weren't in range of the Demon Prince, so they just decided to open up on that Gobi's chariot. And with their +1 to wound, actually managed to put a couple of wounds on. And I saved one and took a wound, and then the cannonball hit and then did 4 wounds, so that wound was important. So I lost the Gobi's chariot on turn 1 there. And then this shot here shows the other Iron Blaster puts a cannonball, bounces clean over the Skull Crushers, which was lucky for me, hits directly into the Demon Prince, and then he saves it with his Charm Shield. So if I hadn't have been out of range of those Lead Belchers, the Demon Prince could very well be dead before he's even moved. And moving on to Warriors of Chaos turn 1 then. So there's no charges to declare. I just push up the 2 units of dogs on this right hand side, just to block any charges and redirect away, and then set up the Skull Crushers for counter charges. And the BSB in the bottom left there just tucks himself up behind the building to give his reroll, provide charges later on in the game. And the Demon Prince flies up out of line of sight of one of the Iron Blasters, and hopefully gets himself in a position where he can deal with the second one. And the dogs push up to stop the Lead Belchers charging. The Warriors of Chaos push up, the Gobi's chariot pushes up, and over on this side the dogs push up to prevent the Iron Guts from wheeling around. So into the Warriors of Chaos magic phase. Now look at the devastation. I sent a purple sun right through his lines. I picked up 1 Lead Belcher that they failed the panic test and fled. I picked up 7 Iron Guts, but they passed their panic test. And I picked up 6 Noblards, they also passed their panic test. So this is the start of a destructive magic phase, to say the least. And also the start of the game of the bravest ogres in the world, because my opponent here makes some ridiculously low leadership rolls in this game consistently, rolling sort of 3s and 4s for leadership throughout this game. So that was quite funny, but yeah, that was a really impressive first purple sun to go off. However, the Demon Prince rolled a miscast, he rolled Snake Eyes, and then rolled a 2 and cascaded himself. And I think he actually put a wound onto the level 1 as well. So straight off the bat, I've actually not picked up any points, and I'm down 500 point Demon Prince. So I've got some points to make up now. So we're moving on. This is Ogre Kingdom's turn 2. So he declared a charge onto the Warhounds, and I elected to flee, and I didn't roll. I didn't flee far enough, and the Iron Guts ran them down. Now at first I was thinking there's probably a mistake because his Iron Guts are way over here in the corner, but he's been able to just deny those points, which is the best thing to do at this stage. If I don't pick up that Iron Gut unit, that's an expensive unit, and he could very well pick up the win. So the Iron Guts run off way over here into this corner, and you can see there in the top left hand corner the Yetis for the first time. And over on the right hand side here, the Hunter and the Sabertusk elect to charge the dogs on the right hand side, and the Noblars declared a charge onto the dogs on the left, who fled through the building, through the BSB, through the Zinch block, and through the Gobi's chariot, and popped out way over in the centre of the board, miles away. And no one failed any panic tests, and I failed none of the danger train tests, which was nice. So moving on to the centre, the Lead Belchers rally. And over on the left hand side here, the Yetis have again just gone full march and swung in to get some charges in the next turn. And into the Ogre Kingdom's magic phase, again he cast the Fulminating Flame Cage onto this Gobi's chariot, hoping to pin it in place. He's not doing any wounds because I am toughness 6 and have a good armour save, so he's not putting any wounds on these chariots through Flame Cage. But we were saying that the warrior block would have been a better target. However, he's seen the destruction that my Gobi's chariots can do, and he wants to, do whatever he can to get rid of them. And you can see there, just in the bottom corner, was the dogs that fled from the Noblar charge and popped through everybody. So moving on, So this is the remaining moves phase. The Ogre Kingdoms, you can again see that the bulls and the Iron Blast have just bumped up behind again. He's not sort of learning from his mistakes, that he's just leaving easy overruns there. But hopefully that's something we can stamp out in due course. And in the shooting phase, the Iron Blast puts cannonball for the Skull Crushers and kills one of them. And the other Iron Blaster in the centre, I think it fired at the Gobi's Chariot and it overshot, which was lucky for me because I could have fairly easily lost both Gobi's Chariots before they even did anything in this game. And the Hunter there and the Saber Tusks easily beat the dogs and reform. So this was a big mistake because now my unit Skull Crushers is narrow enough that I can charge without clipping the Noblars. So he's giving me an easy charge there, and then a very easy overrun into the into the bull unit. What would have maybe been a better option was to overrun with his Hunter and Saber Tusk, but I think when we measured it, he may have clicked my Skull Crushers anyway. So I'm not too sure what would have done differently there. But yeah, so this is the situation you don't really want to see is units stacked up like this. It's giving easy overruns. So going into Warriors of Chaos turn 2, as you can see, I do take that charge with the Skull Crushers into the face of the Hunter and Saber Tusks. Should easily beat that unit and then easily overrun into his bulls and easily beat that unit as well. So I'm happy with how this round side's going. And in the centre, so the BSB declared a charge onto the Iron Blaster, thinking I could just tie it down and stop it shooting, and eventually break it through combat res or just beat it. But he fails his charge, stumbles forward like 3 inches, and then the unit of warriors make a huge long bomb charge, so he needed to roll like an 11, and they get it and sprint off and contact the Iron Blaster. So they've got a really good chance of breaking it. I've got a charge, a banner, 2 ranks, so he's already starting at -4. Any wounds that I do will pretty much guarantee to break that Iron Blaster. And over on this side, the Gobi's Chariot declared a charge into the Noblars and they fled. And I had a failed charge because at the point of when I declared this charge, there was nobody else into the charge arc, so I couldn't redirect, so I just had a failed charge. And the dogs charged into the lead belchers just to get them out of the way. So in the magic phase, didn't really do anything because the Demon Prince is dead and the level 1 is now in combat. So we're going straight into the combat phase. The dogs actually managed to do 2 wounds to a lead belcher, but they are wiped out to a man or to a dog. And in the centre here, as you can see, I lose 1 guy. This is fairly funny. The Rhinox fluffed all its attacks. The Ogre on top fluffed all his attacks. Then the little lookout Noblar stabbed a warrior in the eye through his helmet and killed one, which is fairly funny. But I have a charge banner and 2 ranks. I don't think I did any wounds in this round. So he's at -3, and then he makes his leadership 4 test. So like I say, first of many very low leadership tests passed in this round. And over on this side, the Skull Crushers obliterate the Hunter and Saber Tusk with relative ease. I think there was just the Hunter left with 1 wound. And then I overrun into the Bulls. So that keeps me away from taking another cannonball in the next turn. So going into Ogre Kingdom's turn 3, the Lead Belchers decide to take a charge into the Warriors just to try and prevent, inflict a few wounds and try and break this combat. It's probably the best option because they didn't really have any decent targets to shoot at. They could have shot at the Gobi's Chariot that's below this picture, but they're not likely to do anything. So, throwing them in here, getting those 9 extra attacks and trying to break this warrior block is a good play. Obviously the way the table is, the Lead Belchers wouldn't sit there, so we just put 1 guy in and they're in combat there. And over on this side, the Yetis had declared a charge against the Gobi's Chariot and failed. And the Iron Guts just tested Swift Reform and moved up into the trees here. I can't remember if what the magical forests were, if they were anything that they didn't affect the game in any way. And over on this side, the Noblars just move around to basically try and trap in the Skull Crushers and get maybe a flank or a rear supporting charge if the bulls can hold. Excuse me, guys. And the Iron Blaster there just turns around. Not too sure what it's planning to do with it there because both my units are in combat. Maybe setting up a flank charge next turn into that warrior block if everyone sticks in place. So again, we get the fulminating flame cage onto the Gobi's chariot, and over here he casts troll guts onto the bulls, and I unveil my dispel scroll, and then we go into combat. So he actually does 2 wounds, or 1 wound onto Skullcrusher. So that big dice is there, and I kill 1 bull and do 2 wounds. So I have a fairly whiff-tastic magic phase, but he is steadfast and he does blow the roll, and they get run down. And in the centre here, so my champion gets in the challenge with his champion, and they fight. They have a bit of a tickle fight. I miss all my attacks, he misses all his attacks. My warriors kill 1 lead belcher, and this round I do put a wound on the Iron Blaster. He kills 2 warriors, but again he's testing on minus 3, minus 4, and the Iron Blaster and the lead belchers both pass their leadership tests again. I think they need a sort of 3 or a 4, and they both got it, which was silly. So we stay locked in combat here, and if I can't break them in the next round of combat, I'm going to get an Iron Blaster in the flank. However, it does protect me from shooting again for another turn, which is nice. And this is the shot here of the Skullcrushers ran down the bull unit and turn around. This is Warriors Curse turn 3, so that they've just done a full reform. And the Gobi's chariot goes ahead and charges into the Yetis over here on the left hand side, so that you should quite comfortably win that combat. Again, there's no magic phase because the level 1's locked in combat, so we're straight into combat phase. So the BSB moves up just to support this bubble there. So we're going into combat phase. Predictably, the Gobi's chariot obliterates the Yetis and runs them down. I think there was 1 left with 1 wound, and then he gets run down. I don't even run that far, as you can see. But I run out with the arc of the Iron Guts, which was nice. And so in the centre here, finally, I managed to, I think I kill off the remaining lead belcher. The lead belcher champion remains in a combat with my champion, and he actually managed to put 2 wounds onto the Iron Blaster. So again, he's testing on minus 5 or something, and they both break, and I run them both down, which is really nice. And again, my warrior block there rolled sort of like an 11 for a rundown distance. So they're hyped up for this game, to say the least. So going into Ogre Kingdom's turn 4, you can see there was no charges to declare. Just pushes up the Noblars to block in the Skullcrushers in place. It's a really smart idea because now I can't wheel around them to charge the Iron Blaster, and if I do declare a charge onto the Noblars, I will overrun and give the Iron Blaster a lovely flank shot. So it's a really smart idea, just to pin the Iron Blasters in place there, and you can ping a cannonball through them every turn. And over on this side, the Iron Guts march up out the trees, and I think it looks like 1 guy takes a wound from Dinge Train. And so back here, this was fairly funny. The Noblars that backed off from the charge in Warriors Curse turn 2. We'd forgot about them all game because they were sat there in the dead pile. So we remembered the turn that was still alive, and he rolled. See that roll in the bottom corner there? They actually rallied. So again, ridiculously low leadership test being made. So those Noblars rally and turn around. So in the magic phase, he goes ahead and throws the fulminating flame cage onto the BSB there. So don't take any wounds. And the Iron Blaster there pings a cannonball straight through the Skullcrushers and kills 1 of them. So into Warriors Chaos turn 4. So I just turn around the chariot like so. BSB moves up to get into the flank of the Iron Guts to hopefully charge him and get those points. And over here, the Warriors just quick reform and move up a little bit. I realise I made a bit of a mistake here. I'm providing the Iron Blaster with a flank shot in later games, but they were actually more straight on. I think they've just slipped down the hill a little bit there. Not much I can do with the Warriors there. I'm going to hopefully try and charge the Iron Blaster in my next turn and break it and get those points. And Skull Crusher just shuffle to the side. So now I've got a clear charge into the Iron Blaster, and I can at least force the Noblast to move again to get in front of me. So this just rubbed salt into the wounds of the Ogre Kingdoms player. So the level 1 who's now out of combat rolled, I think I rolled like a 10 dice magic phase. I would just pick up 6 dice, roll it a final transmutation, it goes off, not irresistibly, but he fails to dispel it. And so I pick up, you see my dice there are sort of black and white, so I pick up 3 black dice and 1 white dice, and I say, hey, so the white dice is the Fire Belly, and I roll a 6 on the white dice and kill the Fire Belly. Did nothing to the Iron Guts, and the Fire Belly burst into coins, which was fairly funny for me, and the Iron Guts passed the panic test. So just rubbing salt into the wounds there. So we're into Ogre Kingdom's turn 5, there's not much to do. He just marches up, he passes the march test and gets out line of sight of the BSB there. You can see that little indicator. That is a fantastic little bit of kit. I highly recommend it for anyone to buy it, the line of sight measurer. And over on this side again, he just pushes the Noblars in front of the Skull Crushers to block me off once again. So we're straight to the shooting phase because there's no magic, because both his casters are dead, and mercifully the Iron Blaster rolls a misfire and rolls the one where he spins around in a random direction and ends up facing exactly the same direction as he was before. So going into Warriors of Chaos turn 5, the Gobbish Chariot there declares a charge and fails. The Tzeentch Warriors just move up. Again, I'm not sure why I didn't just turn them to the side, because I'm giving a flank shot to the Iron Blaster, which is silly. And you see the bottom of the corner there, the Exalted BSB on Demonic Mount just moved up to within like a millimetre of the charge arc. I was just toying with the Iron Guts at this point. I was way up on points. I didn't want to, be all out and brutal. So they're just playing a bit of chicken and toying with them. See that he's just moved up to within like a millimetre of the charge arc. Just peekaboo around the corner. And again, so there's nothing to do there. Fairly, lackluster turns at this point. So we're moving to this is Ogre Kingdom's turn 5. The previous turn was turn 4. So the Iron Guts once again pass their march test and just march away. And the Noblars again just move up in front of the Skull Crushers. So this time the Iron Blaster turns around to get a flank shot into the Warriors, and I believe he rolls a misfire again, and rolls the one where he can't shoot this turn or next turn, or maybe he kills one warrior, and I pass my ward save because I get a 5 up. But either way, no one dies from that flank shot, which is really lucky. He rolled like he rolled like a 10 for his bounce and cleared pretty much the entire unit. So yeah, I think that shot's there just saying that the Iron Blaster did fire, and I think I ward saved one wound. So going into this Warriors Chaos turn 5, I turn the Warriors this time, so I'm not taking another flank shot, and I go ahead and I cast Final Transmutation onto the Iron Blaster. This is just try and clear off the table, and I don't get it. And you see just in the bottom corner of the picture, the BSB has moved around the building to get a charge onto the Iron Guts next turn. Again, just in trying to pick up those points. I'm trying to sort of coach them through the turns, like what to do. Basically, just march with those Iron Guts. You don't want to risk them breaking. Save those points, and that's the best thing to do. And way off in the bottom corner, the bottom of this picture, the Gorbis Chariot's also moved around again. So going into Ogre Kingdom's turn 6, the Noblars decide to have an attempt at breaking the Skull Crushers. So where they actually are, they do actually have a fairly good chance because they have charge and a flank. I have a banner, so they're up by 1. If they can do a couple of wounds, and that one Skull Crusher fluffs his attacks, that unit of Skull Crushers could very well break and run off the table. And the Iron Guts again just march as far away from that BSB as possible. So so in this turn the Iron Blaster fires and misfires, and then rolls the result where he can't shoot for this turn or next, but this is the last turn, so didn't really matter. So that was lucky for me. It wouldn't have really done much. Would have hit 3 warriors, and then I get my 5 ward save against it. And so again, after rallying these Noblars, we completely forget about them. When they're sat in a dead pile and they're only Noblars, they don't really matter. So we remember them, and he declares a charge into the rear of the warriors, and they have a failed charge. So over on the right hand side, he doesn't do anything to the Skull Crushers. It looks like I kill 4 Noblars. So I win by 3. He fails. He breaks, but I can't run them down. And then going into Warriors of Chaos turn 6. Now this was just, I felt really, really bad for my opponent. So I go ahead and I declare a charge finally with the BSB into the rear of the Iron Guts. So I say to him, look, at this stage in the game, just flee. You're gonna, on 2 dice, you're gonna run 7 inches away, and that I then can't completely charge because I don't have enough distance, even if I roll box cars. So he says, sure, like I say, I'm coaching through the game a little bit, sort of giving him the tips of how to win and do well. So he says, sure, I'll flee, and then he rolls snake eyes. My BSB runs him down. Oh, I had my head in my hands. I was trying to give him, the best advice, and then, I just felt quite rotten at this point. So, so do pick up the points for the Iron Guts. BSB again, running down a unit on the charge. And in the centre here behind the building, I was able to wheel around the building and clip the Iron Blaster like so. Doing damage isn't necessarily the point because I'm already up by a charge, a banner, and 2 ranks on combat res. And he does end up breaking, and I run him down. So it ends up being a tabling. The Noblars over here just that's just them after their failed charge move. They just sat in the middle of the table there. That was all that was left. When the game was finished, so it was all but a tabling. So after losing the Demon Prince, I thought it could have been an interesting game. But again, the Ogre list was not optimised. If you'd have had, say, a bigger unit of Iron Guts and a bigger unit of Bulls, if you didn't have the Hunter in there, the Yetis, and just went out for more Bulls and more Iron Guts maybe. Again, I'm helping him with his list and saying how he shouldn't really have Noblars in there. He should be taking single Saber Tusks as chaff because they're so much smaller deployment wise, and they're quicker, just more annoying. So taking this victory with a grain of salt. However, it does, it was good practice to deal with double Iron Blaster and cannons, and I kind of got let off a little bit in the opening turns there. But I did lose the Demon Prince anyway, so whatever. So I hope you enjoyed the game, guys. Again, I apologise for the blurry photos. I ended up picking up 2,300 points or so, and my opponent got all units of dogs, a Gorbis Chariot, and the Demon Prince. So about 800 points. So it was like 1,200 victory point win to the Warriors of Chaos, and for those that do tournament scores, that would be a 20-0. So good win, and I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Okay, thank you. Bye.